The year is 2016. And a new console war has started. Andrew House, Phil Spencer will fight to see who has the best updated half-cycle console. God have mercy on all our souls.
On September 7, 2016, PlayStation had their PlayStation meeting. And it was just that. It was a meeting. They had things like PowerPoint presentations, and people actually talked to us like they were teachers. And that's kind of what they had to do, because they were talking to investors, they were talking to corporate people. And we got to basically sit in on this and see what the new console was going to be like. The expectations of this console were through the roof. People honestly thought that we were going to see new games, that we were going to see a new console, which did happen. But people also thought that we were going to have this massive meeting, kind of like E3. And if you went in thinking like that, you were probably disappointed. But if you went in looking for a new console, some people are still disappointed. You'll probably hear around the internet quite a lot the joke, PS4 Pro isn't quite so pro. And everyone chuckles to themselves the first time, and then 10 times after, when you see it in every single goddamn video, you kind of get a little bit tired of it. But the PS4 Pro isn't that pro. Thank you. Thank you. I'm personally excited for the PS4 Pro. I'm personally excited for people who haven't bought a PS4 to get a $299 Slim version that actually looks pretty cool. So guys, I'm going to talk about the PlayStation meeting, what I thought was good about it, what I thought was bad about it. There's a lot of good here, and then I'm going to talk about the overall console specs at the end of this video. This, guys, is a show that I like to call That Was a Bit Direct. I'm not doing Nintendo stuff this week. So Andrew House came out on stage and started talking about display, how you want to innovate display, and honestly that's the thing that people have had a problem with since the start of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One era. Why doesn't it look as good? Why isn't it this actually next gen? After 2 months of the consoles being out, people already were saying that this does not look as next gen as other consoles. A lot of people are saying that a lot of games are held back because of the PS4 and Xbox One. Well, now they're trying to tackle this. There is now going to be a next gen. It's going to be the current gen, which is the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One Scorpio. Now, he also talked about the PlayStation 4 Slim, which actually looks like a matted version, a smaller matted version of the PlayStation 4. It looks kind of cool, and it's going to retail for $299, and it's coming out September 15th, which is next week. That's right, it's coming out the day I go back to college, surprisingly enough. It's actually pretty cool. I actually think that if I was never bought a PS4 and I looked at this, I'd probably buy the Pro first, but like looking at this, I'd be like, you know, €300 for €300 for a goddamn PS4. I'll take it. That's fine with me. So Mark Cerny came out to announce the new console, to announce the name of the new console. And of course, since this was the PlayStation meeting and not the goddamn E3 conference, it wasn't a big grandstanding. He just said the PS4 Pro. Now guys, the name of the PS4 Pro obviously is kind of stupid. No one's going to deny that it sounds really silly. It kind of, in my opinion, it kind of segregates your old players. It makes your old players feel like, hey, I'm not a professional because I don't have the PS4 Pro. And guys, yes, you're not. I can now call myself a professional. I don't get paid for it. I don't get sponsorships, but I'm a professional gamer now because I have the PlayStation 4 Pro when it comes out. That's when I become a professional. The words that we would hear a lot through the PlayStation meeting were actually 4K, HDR, and VR. We're not buzzwords, but words that we would hear quite a bit through the PlayStation conference and or PlayStation meeting. I have to call it a meeting because that's what it was. It was a meeting. It wasn't a conference. Now the jump in pixels is one of the biggest things they talked about. Now, guys, I'm not a person who's savvy in tech, but when I saw the jump from the little screen to the big screen, that kind of excited me in a way. It kind of made me feel like this is actually a big deal, because it is a massive jump in the pixels. You're seeing on screen the amount of pixels is actually jumping in. I think that's actually a really cool thing that they're actually doing this. It's actually updating their console. Mark Cerny said he's boosting the CPU. Apparently it's going to have double or something like that. It's going to have higher frame rate, which is something, again, people have complained about for a while, and the hard disk drive is going to be even larger. Some games were shown off, like Spider-Man, would actually look pretty cool, guys. Even on my laptop that's a 1080p monitor, watching the meeting on Twitch, it actually looked really, really, really nice. You had For Honor, which guys looks nice anyway, but honestly I think that they were like holding out on this to show the updated version of this, because this looks absolutely amazing. The lighting, the shadows, the actual textures on everything just look absolutely fucking fantastic. It doesn't look like a game that actually would come out on the PlayStation 4, so you have to give them props for that. It actually are showing improvements. They showed Deus Ex, which honestly I don't see the difference from the PlayStation 4 version, I gotta say. I just don't see the difference. They showed Lara Croft, and when they said textures and lighting and shadows, they weren't wrong. It looked absolutely great. I don't think I'm gonna go and play this game on, like, it's not gonna be my launch, or maybe it might be my launch title for the PlayStation 4 Pro when I buy it. But it just doesn't seem like it's the right game to show off your console, because it feels like an old game. It came out last year. You have Watch Dogs 2, which again left a sour taste in people's mouth, but did look good. I didn't notice any difference from watching it at the E3 conference, so I'm not going to really say that it was a massive difference on the PlayStation 4 Pro. And also, guys, he said that smaller titles that aren't AAA titles are going to try and adapt, and this is where we're going to have to talk about this. The PlayStation 4 Pro says it will run games in 4K. With the specs that I've seen, apparently it won't be able to run all AAA games in 4K, but it will be able to run smaller titles like indie titles and more, I guess, more accessible titles in 4K. Like, we're gonna get some re-releases probably in 4K. We're gonna get some indie titles in 4K, and that makes sense. We don't know anything really about the Xbox One Scorpio, only its specs. We know that that can run games in 4K, but apparently it's not gonna be able to run all games in 4K, which isn't a problem. It's just that I think what they're focusing on here, and they kind of stirred away from 4K and started talking about high dynamic range. That was one of the biggest things they talked about in this conference. They said HDR, high dynamic range. They used the word luminosity. They said they didn't expect all developers to actually grasp this HDR yet, which honestly I think high dynamic range is a big deal. It actually makes the games look a lot better. They showed Days Gone, which they actually, I probably wasn't going to play it, but after I saw him throw a Molotov into a bunch of zombies, and it was at nighttime, you could actually see a massive difference in what we saw at E3 till now. The lighting, again, lighting is a big deal, and shadows are a big deal, and textures, and you want them to look good, and I feel like it actually did give a good showing here. They also showed Infamous First Light and Uncharted 4. Again, great looking games already. They did look fantastic here. The gameplays had no audio, so it was kind of awkward when they were playing, but I don't think showing old games is how you show off a new console. That's just my opinion. Nobody kill me for that. I own a PlayStation 4. It's my console of choice. But still, I don't think you show old games to show off a new console. Horizon Zero Dawn was shown off, and there was an actual frame rate difference. It wasn't just like an updated graphics. There was an actual frame rate. I saw 60 FPS for Horizon Zero Dawn. That's fantastic. Like, I actually think that's amazing. And Shadow of Mordor looked like a re-release. They showed Shadow of Mordor, and I kind of take it back what I said that they shouldn't show old games, because this looked like a complete re-release. It looked absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. So Mark Cerny, when he was talking about all this, he has a very soft-spoken voice. It was hard to really grasp what he was talking about, because I think even the day afterwards, everyone was trying to make sense of every single thing that was said in the conference, and especially since Mark Cerny made mistakes over and over again. But that's just him. He's a very soft-spoken, lovely dude, and we kind of forgive him for it. We forgive you, Mark. They use the word forward compatibility. I hate this word. I get what it means. They're trying to make sure that every game in the past is going to become forward compatible to the PlayStation 4 Pro and become in 4K. There are certain patches that you've seen for games like Shadow of Mordor and Uncharted 4 and Infamous First Light. I think that's absolutely fantastic that they're doing this, but I just think forward compatibility is like the most pretentious thing you could say. We then had our mandatory Call of Duty showing, and to be honest guys, I'm actually kind of excited for Infinite Warfare. I'm going to buy it probably months afterwards, just when it goes down in price in some way. But it looked pretty good. I don't really know what to say about this. I feel like they show off Call of Duty sometimes just to show off Call of Duty. I like Call of Duty, and I think the gameplay is fun. I think the actual game is fun. I just feel like they show it off at every conference because they have to. And I feel like this is not one of the games that you show off the graphical excellence, even though the games look amazing. I feel like if you're going to show off a game, you show off a game that has, you know, amazing color and vibrant colors. And Horizon Zero Dawn was that game. Shadow of Mordor was definitely that game. Infamous First Light was kind of that game. You know, and the game coming up that they talked about was definitely that game too. Mass Effect Andromeda. That's right, guys, we actually got gameplay from Mass Effect. This was probably worth it for some people, just to see some Mass Effect gameplay. It was more than E3. E3, they kind of insulted their fans and showed them stills, which I always hate. Oh, I hate stills and I hate documentaries. Like, I get it, there's developers, like, and I don't mind seeing actual developer stories, but when it's a developer sitting there with a green screen, like, acting like he's actually developing when it's just an actor pretending to develop, and it's like, please, stop pretending that you're developing. just tell me what the game is, you know, just show me the game. And they did that here, they showed it, and it looked good. The tiny bit of amount they showed me showed that probably said that, no, I don't think it's going to be delayed, but I do think that they're going to show more of it at TGS or at PlayStation Experience. That's when I think you're going to get more of it, not during a meeting about the PlayStation 4 Pro. They also talk about Netflix in 4K, which I think is kind of needed since you can't actually play 4K Blu-ray discs on the PlayStation 4. You can't watch 4K Blu-ray DVDs. It's not that big a deal to me, but it's a big deal to some people for some reason. I think it's just the idea that they don't have it and other consoles might have it. And to me again, it's not that big of a deal, but I think Netflix in 4K is a really cool thing. They also announced that all 40 million PlayStation 4s will be becoming HDR compatible. Which means if you have a HDR TV, turn this on and you will know the difference. Even if you don't have a HDR TV, you will definitely know the difference in some of the games. And I'm going to be turning on a lot of those games they showed just to see if there is a noticeable difference. I'm going to turn off HDR, then I'm going to play one of the games, and I'm going to turn it on and then see if there's any difference. Actually record it and try and see if there's any difference. Not do it on the channel, just for myself to see if there's actually a noticeable difference. So it's coming out November 10th, 2016, and it's going to be €400 or $400. The design itself is like 3 ridges instead of the usual 2 ridges. It looks like a PS4 Slim, just with one added ridge on top of it. It looks alright. I think it kind of looks silly in some ways, but I'm a PS4 owner. I'm going to probably trade in my old PS4 to get this for a tiny bit cheaper. There's a deal going on already that if you trade in your PS4, you get the PS4 Pro for like $200. So I'm definitely going to do that. That's definitely in November. Going to be trading in my PS4 to get a Pro. I'm going to be getting a Pro, guys. Just to let you know, that's probably what I'm going to be getting because I already have a PlayStation 4. I don't know why I would upgrade. I don't know why I would not upgrade. I don't know why I would switch to Xbox. So in terms of final thoughts, I think this meeting was exactly what they said it was going to be. It was a meeting. I think that it's good that we live in this era, that 3 new consoles are on the horizon. We have the NX hopefully coming out by next March. We have the PS4 Pro coming out in November, and we have the Xbox Scorpio coming out next year. How do I think they're all going to do? I think they're all going to sell pretty good. I think the NX has so much buzz about it right now. I think it's actually going to sell really, really well. I think the Xbox Scorpio is going to sell really well to Xbox users and people who don't have a console at that point. I also think that the PS4 Pro is going to probably upgrade a lot of people from the original PlayStation 4. And also, I honestly think that there's a few advantages both sides have. Xbox One Scorpio apparently is saying it's more powerful. They've tweeted out all this week how better their consoles are. I don't have an Xbox One. I can't attest to this. I'm not going to get involved in any war either. I can't attest to this at all. But what I will say, the Sony has the advantage in terms of time. Because if I'm looking to buy a console, why would I not buy the one that's coming out in November? People can say, yeah, but you wait a year and you'll have more money. But the thing is, by next year, the PS4 Pro is going to be on sale around autumn. And then you're going to have the Xbox Scorpio that's going to be new and is going to be full price. So I think either way, Sony has the advantage here in terms of actual sales, not in terms of maybe power. Because again, guys, I'm not tech savvy. You know, again, you can correct me all you want. But apparently people are saying, and people have told me, and just judging by the general reaction, again, the really stupid joke around the internet, the PS4 Pro isn't that pro, which I think it's really pro. It's doubling the power of the original PlayStation 4. What more do we want? Are we actually going to complain? It's doubling the power. Guys, my name is Calvin. Thank you for watching this. This has just been my kind of thoughts on the PlayStation 4 Pro and the release. I am personally going to buy one. I cannot wait. I'll see you guys very soon.